여러분. 필리핀 K-친구가 리자예요. 만나서 반갑습니다. And welcome back to another video. And for today's video, I will be sharing with you my own tips in learning the Korean language. Let's go! Alright, if you're that person who wants to or loves to learn the Korean language, this is for you. Well, Korean language is very popular nowadays, especially because of the Hallyu wave from Korean dramas, K-pop, or even Korean food. And if you're a fan of K-pop or K-dramas, then I'm sure you will know what I'm talking about. Well, personally, I love Korean language. And ever since in high school, I used to watch a lot of K-dramas, but the problem is I need to wait for English subtitles. Who international fans be like? Right. But last year, I was able to decide to learn the language seriously. Well, some of you might not have known, I've learned Korean language, not the common journey, maybe for some of you, or like some of you, because I've learned Korean in the most unusual way. I didn't learn from the basic, so it's hard for me to understand why the characters or the words became like that and like this. So basically, I didn't learn the Hangeul first. Since Korean dramas are more on intermediate and advanced words, I just tried to understand based on Romanization. But if you wanted to learn the Korean language, Romanization must be cut. Yes, I'll be sharing with you my tips on how I learned the Korean language. Okay everyone, before I am going to share with you my own tips in learning the Korean language, let me share with you a little bit of self-introduction in Korean. This is one of the most unforgettable learning that I've done in learning the Korean language so far. I am very happy because I was able to introduce myself in Korean. So every time I had the chance to practice, I usually remember to do self-introduction or 자기 소개. 네. 안녕하세요 여러분. 저는 리자예요. 필리핀 사람이에요. 그리고 두마게테 필리핀에서 살아요. 저는 온라인 ESL 선생님이지만 한국어를 온라인으로 공부하고 있어요. 한국에 가고 싶어서 요즘 한국어를 온라인으로 배우고 있어요. 한국 음식하고 한국 노래도 좋아해요. 네, 진짜 좋아해요. 네, 잘 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다. And yes, it's one of the reason why I always say 안녕하세요 여러분. Yep, this is also one way for me to practice and for me to remember the things that I've learned in studying Korean. As much as possible, I try to practice every now and then. Yes. And let's start with number one tip. Number one. First tip in learning the Korean language. Know your why. It is very important to know what made you decide to study the language, what motivates you to study the language, and what is your goal in studying the language. Well, for me, the first goal why I decided to study the language is because I want to watch Korean dramas without English subtitles. But that's only for a short-term goal. But along the way, I began to create a long-term goal, which is to study in Korea. Or even live there, if chances will make me. Or it's also very helpful if I could speak the language whenever I visit Korea one day. Remember, I told you before that I've never been to Korea, so it's really hard for me to understand the culture and understand how the locals will communicate with foreigners. But as much as possible, I would also love to understand more about their cultures. So, studying the language is one way for me to keep them or keep with them up. Number 2, learn Hangeul. Yes, as I've said, I've never learned Hangeul first. That is why it's very difficult for me to adopt, or it's difficult for me to understand more complex words immediately because I wasn't able to start with Hangeul. I only learned Hangeul last year, and I was able to understand why a certain word or character sounds like this, sounds like that, and everything. So, if you wanted to learn the Korean language, you must start with Hangeul, or the Korean alphabet. Number 3, do not rely on romanization. This is also one thing that foreigners who study Korean language different from those Koreans or even people who wanted to learn the culture and the language. Especially me, I really started with romanization. So I always rely on romanization. Even the time that I tried to cover a Korean song, I used to read the romanization because I don't really understand the characters. I don't understand the vertical lines and the horizontal lines of the characters, so I wasn't able to read it. So, I rely on the romanization. But if you wanted to learn Korean language, stop using romanization because it will only confuse you. Remember that romanization is a bit of confusing translations with the characters itself. For example, Hangeul. So, when you write it in romanization, for most times it's Hangeul, but it's not Hangeul, it's Hangeul because this character is not U. Yes. That's why I encourage you to use romanization. And it will go back to the basic because if you will learn the Hangeul, everything will run smoothly. Well, maybe you'll not understand all of the words or syllables or even sentences, but at least reading can be learned. After learning the Hangeul, you can now read the Korean characters. Even if you don't understand them, it's alright. Now the reading comes in. Yes. After I learned the Hangeul, the next skill that I was able to build was the reading skill. I was able to read Korean characters, Korean words, even though I don't really understand them, but at least I could read them already. Number 4. Keep track of your progress. This is very important as when you take down notes, you will remember the words that you have learned or the grammars that you have learned or the characters that you have written. Sometimes it's very difficult to write all of it down, but I tend to highlight the words that I could use in daily conversation. For example, I learned days of the week, months of the year, or even how to say the different kinds of words for the weather. For example, 오늘. 오늘은 날씨가 정말 좋아요. Or the weather today is good. Now, I tried to record everything that I learned because whenever I forgot something, I could go back to my notes. That is very helpful. Plus, if you're going to write a certain word or a certain Korean word, you will remember the spelling. Plus, you will be able to retain the word. Yes, very helpful. Number 5. So, 5th tip. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. 연습, 연습, 연습. Okay, so if you really wanted to learn the Korean language, of course, you need to practice it. So after learning the Hangeul, the grammar points, or even the sentences, you must practice it by yourself. For example, in a day, you can see different kinds of things or furnitures in your house. Then instead of saying that in English, you will try to say it in Korean. For example, 저는 컴퓨터가 있어요. Or I have a computer. In that way, you will remember the vocabularies that you have learned. Or, 저는 책을 있어요. Or I have a book. 책 is book. So in that way, you will remind yourself the vocabulary that you have learned. Yes. Okay. 6th. Grab the opportunity of joining free Korean classes. Yes. Actually, for myself, I was able to level up on my learning when I got the chance to join the free class from UP Arirang. And it really helped me a lot. Yes, so if you can see or if you know different kinds of organizations, Korean organizations in your country or on social medias, you can follow them so you will have updates for Korean classes because most of them offered that class for free. Yes. So, I hope that these tips will also help you in your journey in learning the Korean language. And if you have any more tips to add, or maybe your own tips in learning the Korean language, don't forget to drop it down on the comment section below. And who knows, someone might need it too. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you have a wonderful day and see you on my next video. 감사합니다, 여러분. 안녕.